Welcome, everybody, to That Tracks, the podcast where we track the temperatures in Anaheim, California. As we all know, we're in a record high heat wave. I just got back. It was 104 degrees out there. Let's just open up the phone and have a look. And it is 62 degrees there right now.
So sad.
Okay, with a high of 78.
Did it? Yeah, I was going to say, didn't it like fall off?
It broke right as soon as I landed in Florida. It's like,
my gosh.
Cooling off this morning.
Tragic.
Yeah.
I was tracking you.
Oh, look at you.
I was.
That Tracks thing going on. Nice
you
work.
did so good. I'm so proud of you. We have to start with that. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You crushed it. You went with a goal. You accomplished the goal.
My goal was to walk across the finish line, and I did it.
We obviously, like, we can just jump right into that, like the experience and everything for you. First time doing a half marathon. You've done a 10K.
Yeah.
Was your first 10K the one that we did in January?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's the first time I'd ever run that far.
Wow. And then you went and did a half marathon.
Yeah.
Did you run 13 miles before the half? What was the furthest you ran before the half?
10 to 6, whatever.
Oh,
6
in January.
miles. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's
it.
really good. I'm proud of you. I legitimately am so proud. Like, I was following along. It really worked out well too, because you were on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, it worked out for me too.
I was able to like not have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and follow along.
I know, and it worked out for me too, because I would set my alarm for 2, but that was really just 5. So like, that's easy. I can wake up at 5 a.m.
Should run Disney races in Disneyland.
No, you shouldn't. It's not a good place to run anything.
Yeah, I will say, like, the course looks so brutal. Just like straight.
Well, that was actually really nice. When we got into the straights,
it was easier?
Yeah, it was easier because the miles seemed closer together.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
When you're weaving throughout Disneyland, and my watch was like, you've gone 4 miles. And then I was like, where's the 4-mile marker?
Right.
And then it was like another half a mile before I hit the 4-mile marker. And
well,
like,
a lot of times when you like stop for like selfies or characters or whatever you're stopping for,
bathroom.
Yeah.
That was me. I stopped a lot to go to the bathroom during the half.
Sense. But you're like walking like in and out of places, and that's adding to your mileage, and you don't even realize it. Yeah. But I feel like running in the parks is nice because it distracts you.
Yeah, it was nice to be able to like see the stuff that was going on. I just want to address something really quick. Yeah. I did not run a half marathon.
Okay, but you
There were times where I had to jog to keep up my pace, but my pace was 16 minutes. That's the slowest you can go.
Right.
That's what my pace was.
Did you have any moments where you were scared that like
the balloon ladies finished 2 minutes behind me?
Okay. Yeah,
so yes,
that's scary.
Especially because the last mile I did a 17-minute mile.
I heard that with this race that they were very intentional about like sweeping people because they did not want to leave people on the course super late because of the heat.
Yeah. And we do want to say, like, our hearts go out to Caleb and his family. There was a young man,
so heartbreaking.
A person who passed away as soon as he crossed the finish line.
Yeah. I
was scared because we finished at the end of the pack. Like I said, 2 minutes before the balloon ladies. And I saw like 3 or 4 medical emergencies happening at the finish line. There was a lady that was waiting in line to pick up her challenge medal right in front of me, and she called the cast member over. She's like, I'm supposed to be waiting in this line, but I just need to go over to, and then she was passing out, and she needed to go to medical.
Yeah.
And then after I got my challenge medal, I passed by another guy. They're yelling like, medical over here. And he was like passed out on the ground.
It's scary.
And then as we made it further out into the parking lot, there was another person that was passed out there. The cops were around them. Sirens going everywhere. Yeah. People throwing up all over the place.
The heat was brutal, and it's really unfortunate like that the heat
happened. Is wild because it was, when I finished the race, it was 86 degrees outside.
Yeah. I think too, though, like it's hard. Like, running is difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. And like, for example, running 13 miles is no easy task. And when you haven't ran that before, your body can feel overwhelmed by it. And so combining the heat with that, I think it's just like, I mean, it's scary. Like, I've been on the course before where I've seen medical emergencies happen. There was one point in the half marathon that I did last time. They like pushed us all to one side of the course because they needed space to get an ambulance in. So it's like, it is very scary, and it should be taken very seriously. And it's heartbreaking to know what happened.
And I think that that's something that I don't know that a lot of people address, is that Run Disney, they really hype it up. They really hype up that like every mile is magic. Like this, you should do this.
Sure. But
like,
it's still running.
But not everybody should do it.
No. And like, like I do believe that like if you properly trained for it, that anybody could do it.
Right.
But it's not something that you can just like put off and then show up and think like, no big deal, I can do 13 miles and expect one to finish, because there's a high, if you haven't trained for it, it's likely you could get swept, and
right.
And getting swept isn't necessarily, it's not some like, it's funny, it's fun, it's lighthearted when we talk about the balloon ladies and stuff like that, and we almost like quote unquote villainize them in a joking manner for sure.
Right.
These are incredible people who volunteer to have these roles to pace, and they're pacing for everybody's safety.
Right.
One, they obviously have to pace in order to get people off the course at an appropriate time, because roads have to open back up, and here at Walt Disney World, parks have to open, that kind of thing. But it's also for the purpose of like making sure that everybody's safe. Like if people are falling drastically behind, there's a reason for that, and they want to make sure that they're taken care of. And so they're going to get them back to the beginning of the course in order to make sure that they're rested and they're not, overexerting themselves. It is still, I mean, it's more lighthearted than like the Boston Marathon or the Chicago Marathon or New York City. Like obviously it's very different than those. You've got characters, you've got entertainment, but it's still running.
Right.
Like you're still putting those miles in, which is why it's something to be proud of when you get out there and you finish that course and you're able to accomplish these things, because it does require a lot of work and it requires a lot of planning, but you have to hydrate, you have to train, you have to be prepared for those things. And when I say hydrate, like you're not hydrating the night before or during the race. You should be hydrating days ahead of the race. Right. You should be drinking, everyone should drink more water just in general, but like it requires a lot more than people think that it does. It's not just a ticketed Disney event that you show up to and have a great time. You have a great time because you put so much work into it.
Right.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
There was so much emphasis on hydration during the race. I did all 3 races. During the races that I did, that towards the halfway point of the half marathon, they, instead of handing you cups of water, they were handing full bottles out. Full bottles of Powerade and water.
Well, absolutely. And I think that especially for people that are local in California, they're not used to that level of heat either. Right. So their bodies are having to adjust to it, and for your body to adjust to it while you're running 13 miles it's not something that's normal and natural to do. So yeah, I'm glad that they paid attention to that. And I think that that's something that they're very intentional with. And Disney does a good job of making sure that everybody is safe and healthy on the course.
I also want to mention that Adam did walk the entire thing. He did jog a little bit in there, but he is the fastest walker I've ever met in my life.
Really?
He can easily walk a 15.5-minute mile.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. But that's good. That keeps him under pace. And what the balloon ladies are doing are walking the entire time. They walk the entire course. They're just walking very quickly. And their pace is what Disney needs them to pace at in order to finish the course. So yeah, I mean, I think it's hard too, because a lot of times you start at different places in Run Disney. So like if you're starting at an like a earlier corral, it's a little bit easier to take your time. Yeah, because have that much more distance between you and the pacers, the balloon ladies.
Yeah. So I did the 5K and the 10K. I was in Group A or Corral A for the 5K and Corral B for the 10K. Yeah. I like walked the second half of the 5K. Yeah. No big deal. Didn't even see the end of the line.
Yeah. I don't know.
10K, I ran it.
They usually don't have balloon ladies at 5K.
No, I know, but I didn't see the end of the group.
Oh, just in general.
Yeah. And like the same thing with the 10K. I ran the 10K. The most of it. I still took it easy because I knew that I had the half afterwards, but I never saw the end of the group.
Wow.
And then like when I was doing the half, the end of the group, I moved back. I was scheduled for Corral F. I moved back to G. Yeah. And the last one I moved back to H, and the last one was I.
Oh, wow.
So I was in the second to last corral.
Scary.
And so they were like, just nipping at our heels.
Yeah. I've started in the corral with the balloon ladies many a times, and it's intimidating for sure.
Mm-hmm. Which is wild because the people in A are the fastest runners. Yeah. So they don't have to worry about like when you're in A or B, the balloon ladies are not even crossing your mind.
No. And a lot of those runners are like, especially those that are in A, they're like competitive runners. Mm-hmm. And I know that like people have asked questions on like, well, why do they get to start at the beginning? Well, they're going to
run you over. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it'd be so frustrating for them to have to start behind everybody else and be like, okay, please move out of my way. Like they're going to be crushing it.
So just as an FYI, just to like put it into perspective, I left in group, what did I say? H?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I left in group H. They gave 5 minutes per corral.
Right.
And by the time that we left, the first place runner was at mile 8.
Well, yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, I've had races where, like for the 5K, I've been in the back corrals at Walt Disney World, and all of it happens in like the Epcot parking lot. But I have watched the confetti cannon go off, knowing that the final 5K finisher had taken place while I still had not started the race yet. And then in the half marathon, I have watched at Walt Disney World, when you run the half marathon, you run from Epcot down to World Drive. Mm-hmm. So you're running towards Magic Kingdom. And then you have to run all the way to Magic Kingdom, like through the TTC parking lot, down by Contemporary, into Magic Kingdom and around. The runners will have been running back to Epcot by the time that I'm starting to make my way like out of the Epcot parking lot. Yeah. Because they're that fast. And it's cool. It's so like, I want to say motivating to see that because I'm like, one day, but probably.
There are runners out there that can finish a 5K in 15 minutes.
Yeah. No, I mean, they are done by the time I have not left the corral. Yeah, for sure. So
those are some fast people.
They are very quick, but it's cool. It's really, it's exciting because it's such a motivating experience, and everybody's like really, I feel like there's just such a strong support system, and it's not even just from the other runners, but it's also like the spectators that line up on different places. And I don't know the experience at Disneyland, but
I got some food from some strangers at the end of the nice. End of the half marathon. I do have to give my complaint out to Run Disney. I understand that you have sponsors, but like you should have given us real food.
I'm shocked that they didn't give you, well, we never get food in the half marathons. We always just get the sports beans.
Really? You don't get bananas?
Only in the marathon.
Only in the marathon?
Yeah.
Should have given, for this one, they should have given out real food.
Did they give you it after?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they should have given
during.
Yeah, because
of the heat and stuff.
Because of the heat and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But they did. They gave us sport beans. I had those, the Stinger gummies in my pocket that I ate after like 5 miles.
I always pack, in my pouch that I run in, especially for the half, I pack Stinger waffles to have just in case. But yeah, unfortunately, they don't give out any type of like real items during the half.
Yeah.
If
you're doing it, pack some goo.
Yeah, truly. Or a Stinger waffle. Those are solid like a solid way to get some carbs while you're running. But
they just gave me sport beans.
Yeah.
And I was like, these are just jelly beans.
Watching everything happen though does have me excited, and it is motivating me. I went running last night. It's motivating me for run season, like officially to start.
Like you're registered for everything.
Literally every single race.
Jeez, that's too much.
Every race at Walt Disney World I'm running this year.
I can't imagine. So I finished the half marathon and I literally crossed the finish line and I was like, that was terrible. Like I'm never going to do that again.
I feel like you might.
No, I can't imagine crossing the finish line. That makes me sad
because I want to do one with you.
No, it's not happening. But I can't imagine you crossing the finish line for the half marathon and being like, all right, let's go rest up for a full marathon tomorrow. I will say that this
last year was a weird experience though, because the half marathon,
the half got cut.
It was cut to 7.1 miles. So we had
but you still finished.
I still ran 6 miles after that, right after. But
that gave you less rest because you ran it later.
Yeah.
Jeez. In the rain.
Dopey, one of the hardest things about Dopey is the whole obviously the running, but like getting up every morning. I will say though, when you do Dopey, by the time that you wake up and you're pulling into the parking lot for marathon day, you are just like ready to go. You're like,
you're ready to be done with it.
No, that's how I would be. I was nervous. I was very nervous for the marathon, but I was like, I'm ready to get out there on this course and just like crush this. But I will say that when you finish mile 13 on a full marathon, you're just like, that was half of it. Like we have 13 more miles.
You have another 3 hours to go.
It's mind over matter at that point.
3.5 hours for me. It was 3 hours and 49 or 45 minutes. That's because I was behind pace.
It gets brutal. I'm glad that they do it in January in Florida because But the hard part with the marathon this past year was that mile 8 it poured on us. So then it sounds refreshing, but it was actually cool, like cold. Yeah. So we like got drenched and then we were like frozen.
Freezing cold.
Yeah, which is why I had issues with bleeding from chafing. Yeah. And then also my shoes were soaked. They were drenched, and that is not fun to run in.
That's why I'm glad that I took the half easy, because during the 10K I actually put a little bit of effort in, and my shoes were soaked by the end of it from sweat.
Yeah. And then like just soggy and ugh.
And then if you're doing the Dopey, you still would have had to put them back on. Well, luckily I was in California and you just leave them outside 104 degrees and they dry out.
Dry out really quickly. Yeah, that's why I had to send my shoes home because my shoes, it also poured while I was doing the half. So my shoes got completely drenched. I mean, I was running through puddles in the Epcot parking lot. Yeah. And so I sent my shoes back to my friend's hotel room, and because DVC rooms are a game changer when you're doing Run Disney because you have a washer dryer, so you can dry. I mean, they have dryers at a lot of the hotels as well, but
shoes in the dryer. Yeah. Is that what you did?
Yeah, you have to. Got to do what you got to do. Got to have dry shoes to run. I wasn't gonna wake up and run in soggy shoes. That's true. Sure. Yeah. But that's awesome. I mean, I know what a feat it is to get past like that. Especially, kudos to you for doing a 5K, a 10K, and then a half marathon. That's what, 19.3 miles?
19.3 is the 10K and the half.
Right, and then you add on.
And then you add another 3.
So that's amazing. I'm so proud of you.
22, 21.
I hope that one day you'll do it again.
No. I do have another fun run.
Would you do a 10K?
No. You have another fun run coming up on Friday through SeaWorld.
You don't think that if they announced like a very cool theme, you would
there's no theme. There's no cool theme that would bring me to run again.
Nothing?
No. It was not fun. The half marathon.
You didn't feel like such a sense of accomplishment?
No, I was like, I'm glad I'm done. Like, how do I feel a sense of accomplishment when there's like ambulances everywhere, there's vomit all over the ground, people are passing out?
Yes, I understand that, and that's hard. That's absolutely hard, but that's also like not how it usually is.
And my knees are hurting.
Well, yeah, you're in pain. You should see like it's funny when you finish Dopey, like a lot of people go to the parks after. Like I went to Magic Kingdom after Dopey, and you could tell who had ran. Well, one, you could tell because medals and like jackets and stuff like that, but we all had the same hobble. Like we all could just like barely walk.
People were making fun of me after, because Adam has already put his video up, and like he showed me running, and I was specifically running in a way that I wouldn't hurt myself.
Yeah.
And so I was running funny.
Yeah.
It was a silly run.
Well, yeah.
But they're like, you look like you just stepped foot into your body. And I was like, well, yeah, because I'm not trying to run all out in a half marathon.
Sure, no. And also it's like survival.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like it's like you have to just like run to take care of yourself in those moments. I mean, that's how it is.
To keep up pace.
Yeah, with the full marathon, like it's just like, all right, I need my body to like make sure that it can finish this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the hard part with a full marathon at Walt Disney World is there's a portion where it's past mile 20. I don't remember exactly where it is, but you get to Blizzard Beach and you just have to like run a big loop around the parking lot in Blizzard Beach, and it's just like 2 laps around the parking lot, and it's just you're just like, what is actually happening right now? But
we did that at A's Stadium. You like go.
Oh yeah, how was the field?
The field was awesome. That was a cool part of it. Cool.
And then they put you on the jumbotron.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
There was just a guy there just saying people's names. He's like, "We got Tim, we got Alexander."
That's so cool.
And I was like, "Oh, there I am."
Yeah.
And then I felt bad because they switched. There was 2 cameras. There was one over by the dugouts and one as we were leaving the field.
Yeah.
And they like switched to the one to the outfield.
Yeah.
And so like people that were coming in didn't get on the camera.
Well,
and I was like, they didn't get to look up at themselves in the jumbotron.
But that was so cool to see videos of people like running on the baseball field, angels in the outfield.
Yeah.
We watched that movie.
There was a waterfall out in the outfield. It was weird. There was like rocks out there. There was a truck parked in the stadium in the stands. I don't know. It was like advertisements.
Oh. You mean like there were really water fountains?
Yeah, it was a really waterfall.
Why?
And that's what the outfield looks like. That's what is outside of center field.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, but when we got into the parking lot, it was after, so we passed by the Honda Center, and the Honda Center is fairly close to
the
Angel Stadium.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were going to D23?
Yeah, it was funny. We were like walking. I was like, oh, it's just here. Adam was like, I parked right there to go to D23.
But also funny that you like ran from Disneyland to there. Like,
yeah,
we had to like drive and shuttle, and
Yeah.
this time you just ran it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
we came in kind of the back way too.
Yeah.
So we passed by that, and then we went down the Santa Ana River Trail, which is kind of like next to where the Santa Ana River is supposed to be. There's nothing there right now. It's just all dry.
Oh, no, sad.
But then we like ran along this like just like a running path, and people were just like out for their morning jog. Like, what's happening here? There's like thousands upon thousands of
like
people.
You threw off my groove.
Yeah. But then when we got to A Stadium, we just like had to just run through the like around the outside of the parking lot. I think they wanted us to go through. There's a big A outside. They wanted us to go through that, and then you like go all the way around the outside of the parking lot, and then you cut through and then go into the stadium, and then you just like run around the stadium and go out, and then you run. After we got out of the stadium, that was the hardest part of the course because it was getting hotter.
Yeah.
And they put us on just roads, just like highway.
Yeah.
Like we were right next to the 5 going down Disneyland Boulevard or Disneyland Drive, one of the two. I don't remember which one it was.
Did you have like changes in elevation, like hills?
Yeah, we hit like 300 feet of elevation.
That's
like
what I thought.
Difference. Yeah. As soon as we got out of the park, we were on Ball Road, and it was like up this huge overpass. And it was like, because there are fires in California and stuff, and they're like, it looked like apocalyptic. It looked like a zombie apocalypse. There was like just thousands of people on the road, and then it was like all hazy, and the sun was like right in our face.
Ugh, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
You're like, I hated it.
I didn't hate it. I don't want to like, I'm glad that I did it.
Yeah.
I had fun with Adam, but like, I'm not doing that again.
Sad. Makes me sad.
Huh? That's your thing.
It would be a different thing for you to experience at Walt Disney World, though.
I understand that.
There's so much better at Walt Disney World.
Still didn't like it. The running part was the part that I didn't like.
I can't say that they're better at Walt Disney World because I've never done it at Disneyland, but the fact that you're on property the entire time at Walt Disney World helps.
Yeah.
But Walt Disney World does suck because
you still have to run on roads
and ramps.
Yeah.
Like the ramps to like, usually like during the half, you're getting to Epcot at like mile 10. You're starting to make your way towards Epcot, and you're having to go up like those big ramps to take you to the overpass to Epcot. Those are brutal. Yeah,
we had one of those, and then during the 10K, remember how we were trying to figure out what that dotted line was?
Oh, yeah.
It was underground. We went underneath the bus.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I didn't realize it was there. I had no idea there was a tunnel there.
I feel like that would be so exciting to be able to see so much of like, because I've never been backstage. I've been backstage once for Walt's apartment tour.
Yeah, we went a lot of places backstage.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that. That's one of the cool things about Rent Disney is that you can go back there.
Got to see all Mater's Junkyard Jamboree's cars.
Oh, that's cool.
Got to see Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters cars up on like lifts and stuff. To see underneath them.
That's cool.
Got to see the train. It's both monorail and train turn barn or whatever they call it.
That's cool.
Where they store it. There was a boiler from a train that was like out of the train, just sitting out in front of it.
That's fun.
It was pretty neat.
And you can like take pictures and stuff back there.
There were some spots that they told me no.
Oh, okay. Interesting. They don't usually say that at Walt Disney.
Yeah. I think it was just specific spots. The train thing, I couldn't take photos, but then like right after it, there was a photo op.
Oh, okay.
And then the horses. I wasn't allowed to videotape the horses.
That makes sense.
So those are the only 2 spots that they told me no.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they said no. They don't usually do that. Like at Walt Disney World, I don't ever remember them saying no photos or anything. So maybe they do. I don't remember that though.
No, I don't know.
I've done a lot of them. Well, I'm excited for you, but also hope that one day you change your mind.
Well, not going to. So there you go.
But that's awesome. That's very exciting. And
I do have to say also, like being in the forward corrals, much more entertaining at the beginning.
Oh, for sure.
You can see the entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was pyro during the 5K.
But you guys, it looked like
there
good
was like
pyro.
a full like stage show. Yeah. People singing the WICKED
Descendants. But you get that at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, but it's rare in Disneyland.
Right.
Could you imagine living outside of Disneyland and then at like 5 a.m., like 4:30 in the morning, there's
fireworks.
Just like...
Oh, do they not send off fireworks for every person, like every wave? Oh,
no, it was just at the beginning of the 5K. It was the only pyro. It wasn't even fireworks. It was pyro.
Right.
So it was like low stuff.
Right. Well, that's what, I mean, it's really low pyro for the Disney races as well. But
like it was funny because we were back in the corral for the half, and people around me are like, did it start? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, there was no fireworks? I was like, no, it was just flashing lights.
Interesting.
That's it. Huh. Yeah. They just like,
they do a good job though. The MCs for Run Disney are hilarious and like super energetic. And they always do the 3, 2, 1, go. Carissa. She's hilarious.
They did 5. They started at 5 for us, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. No, I feel like at Walt Disney World though, you get to see that stuff more because the corrals are at Disneyland. What it appeared to be, just pictures and videos that I saw, it's all like
stacked.
Yeah.
Like one right after the other.
Right.
Then you move forward.
Whereas at Walt Disney World, you weave.
Yeah, and they also sent the entire corral.
Which is so interesting to me.
Yeah, rather than like...
They've got to be so much... There's got to be like much more limited capacity in the Disneyland races.
There was 16,000 people for the half.
Oh.
Yeah, it went down to Corral I.
Wow.
So it was
still
a lot of
really
people.
Big, yeah. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like... Because they don't do that at Walt Disney World.
Yeah,
the whole corral does not go.
They like...
There's like waves.
Wave it, yeah.
I mean, we had like 10 waves in one corral.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which was weird. I think they were just trying to clear the corral out because it was on the road.
Right.
So like...
Right.
But that was how we finished too. So that road never closed or never opened.
Because you didn't finish where you started.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh.
We like literally, as we were coming up to the finish line, I was like, where are we? And I was like, oh, that's where we were standing for our corral, just on the other side of this fence.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
There was like a hotel there. People came out at 4:30 and they're like, oh, there's 16,000 people right outside my door here.
What are they doing here?
What is happening?
Then the park's open, right?
Yeah.
But you started away from the parks.
We started in the parks.
Oh, you did?
So we went through both parks first.
Right. But you didn't like start in the park.
No, we started across the street.
Okay.
So like, you know where the arches are that you would go through from Harbor Boulevard to get to? We started across the street from that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Huh. So like there's a cast member parking lot there.
Oh, okay.
That we started in.
Okay.
Yeah,
not far from like the Howard Johnson and stuff.
No, not too far. No, it's like right behind the Tropicana. If you know where the Tropicana was.
I don't.
Okay, yeah.
But
do you know where the IHOP is?
Yes.
Right behind that.
Okay.
There you go.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I do want to run Disney race in
Do you know where the movie theater is? Where the House of Blues is?
No.
Oh, okay. It's called the Garden Walk.
Oh yeah.
That was right. I could see the Garden Walk from my corral. It's right next to it.
Okay.
That road that runs.
Yeah, it's a really big like shopping center. Disney has like bought that, I think.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know anything about that, but yes, sure.
It's not far from like...
I would feel bad if that's what happened because Pizza Press had to move.
Oh.
And they moved to there.
Oh, no. They're going to have to move again.
They're going to have to move again.
I think that, that's not far from the convention center either, obviously.
Yeah.
That's a little
We
bit
ran
of a
past
walk,
the convention center.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, both the 10K and the half.
Oh, cool.
So we went down Harbor, down to Catella, then back up Disney.
To get back into Disneyland.
To get back in behind DCA. So we ran behind Incredicoaster.
Oh, fun.
And then came out. Where did we come out? Did we come out in Cars Land? Yeah, we came out in Cars Land. That was the first turn. And then we just turned directly into it might be the second turn, but
yeah,
Cars
cool.
Land. And then looped around through everything.
See, that sounds so much fun to me. I really want to do a Disneyland race because I want to be able to run through those parks.
I would say do the 10K.
Yeah, you're in the parks the most. I always recommend the 10K in general for anybody.
Yeah, both the 5K and the 10K were entirely in the park.
Yeah.
The 5K we started on Main Street.
That's so fun.
Like that's where the starting line was.
Yeah.
It was right there
by the castle.
To the right of the castle leading towards Matterhorn. That was the starting line.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was your favorite race?
The 10K.
Yeah.
But I thought it was very funny for the 5K. I felt like they weren't ready for it. They're just like, it's a 5K. No big deal. They'll figure it out. Because we got there and they're like, all right, A, B, and C go this way. D and E go that way. And like, we just like got on the Main Street and they stopped us. And we're just like standing there and I was like, I need to use the bathroom. And then they're like, all right, come on down to your corrals. And we went down to the corral and I made it all the way up to the front. And I was like, well, all right, so I'm here. There's the stage. Where are the bathrooms? I was like, so I go and ask somebody, I go, what bathroom do I use? And they're like, hold on, let me go check. And they go over and they're like, are these bathrooms open? And I'm like, those bathrooms have no locks on them. They're always open. And they're like, no, those bathrooms aren't ready. You got to go back down by Carnation Cafe, which is like halfway down Main Street. And I was like, that's all roped off.
Yeah. Like
they're like, just go underneath the ropes. And I was like,
what?
Okay. And so I did. Went underneath the ropes, went back to Carnation Cafe.
Feels like they should have had a plan for bathrooms for sure. In Epcot, there's just porta potties.
Yeah.
Of them. But there, you would have to be able to like get to the actual Disneyland bathroom.
Well, actually, the first thing that they said was, as soon as the race starts, just past the starting line, across from Matterhorn is some bathrooms. And I was like, the race is going to start in 45 minutes.
I'm not going to make it.
I would like to use the bathroom now, please.
Yeah, they should have had that planned for sure. But it did seem like this one went much better than it did for like, they had the Dumbo challenge in January, and that I heard was not good.
Oh no, what happened?
Just the organization of the race.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
this one was pretty good. Like I felt like we got everything done. The bathrooms, there could have been more bathrooms. When I got to the 10K, started in the same place as the half across the street. Yeah. And I was in corral B. So I was like, they're like, A, B, and C go through here, which was like the family reunion area. Yeah. And then they're like, everybody else turn left here. And you had to walk all the way down and around this parking lot because that's where the corrals were. Right. Which makes sense. But like, that means that if you wanted to go to get breakfast at the food trucks or like see what was going on in the family reunion area, you had to go all the way around the parking lot and then come back up and then come in. Yeah. Whereas instead of just like, boop, walking straight
it feels like spacing is just complicated out there though.
Yeah. But like they should have let everybody into the family reunion area and then split them off.
Yeah. That seems like that would make sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then the bathrooms, just thousands of people lined up for like maybe 100 porta potties.
Yeah. So, but again, like this is why I feel like you've got to experience more Run Disney at Walt Disney World because it's so much more easy.
I've done it. I did a 10K. Yeah, I'm good. I know exactly what happens. I saw it happen. I was there.
You would just have so much fun running through Magic Kingdom, down Main Street, under the castle. It's like the best.
I ran underneath Disneyland's castle.
Yeah.
Ran through it.
Our castle's bigger.
That's true. It is bigger. And this one was older. There you go.
Dang it. I was hoping that you'd be like, okay, I'll do another one.
No, not happening. I'm done.
You stuck to your guns.
I'm done running.
Your toes okay?
Yeah, my toes good. It didn't hurt during the half.
Good.
Hurt during the 5.
That's why I was so concerned for you because I was like, Tim, you need to take care of your body.
I did. I feel like I rested.
Yeah. I mean, your recovery was very quick, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means you trained well.
Yeah, the next morning, my knees were hurting real bad afterwards.
Yeah.
And then I just sat in the room and watched some movies.
Yeah. You gotta rest, but also got to keep moving, too.
Watched Five Nights at Freddy's.
What a peaceful, relaxing.
Yeah, it was nice. It was good. It was kind of enjoyable.
Did you have FOMO of HHN Hollywood happening? And
yeah, I was. I was if I feel really good after this half, I'm going to go out there. I didn't feel really good.
Yeah,
so
not that good. I have heard that people have been this year more impressed with Orlando than Hollywood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Which I feel like maybe that's not what people usually say.
No, I think people usually say that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Hollywood, they do a good job of sets, but they have been known for like blank hallways.
Oh, okay.
So like instead of doing budget cuts to like maybe make a room smaller or something like that, they'll just take entire scenes out.
Oh, okay.
And like that's a hallway now.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the houses were good, but I've heard that overall the experience has been better at Orlando. Not by far or anything like that, but and then you got to also experience Oogie Boogie Bash.
Boogie. Yeah. It was good. I was disappointed with Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah, that's what Jen told me.
But, it's just like when I talk to a character, I want them to like be on it. Sure. They are that character.
Yeah.
And Doofenshmirtz, I feel like
just was kind of winging it.
Yeah, he wasn't. So there is this
I feel like that's a tough character too.
It really is tough.
Yeah.
So
like that's a difficult character to have in general.
Here's my Doofenshmirtz for you. Okay. My Doofenshmirtz story. So there's this scene in the show where Doofenshmirtz has Perry the Platypus. Mm-hmm. And he says, I have an innator that's going to turn everybody into dust. Red dust, similar to rust. Oh, rust. Red dust. Rust. I'm going to go, is that how that, I'm going to go look up the entomology of that. And he leaves and he comes back and he goes, actually, entomology turns out to be the study of bugs. So never mind. That's Doofenshmirtz. Like that right there.
Right.
And I relate to him for that.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's why I was
You
excited
see
to meet
yourself
him.
in Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah. Less evil, more,
Jokester.
ADD. But
less evil, more ADD.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. And I was like, Doofenshmirtz, I want you to know you're the I can't even remember the name of the doll, but he got his daughter a doll that she wanted when she was a kid, but he didn't get it for when she was a kid. She got it for when she was an adult. Molly McGruffin, maybe.
Okay.
And I said, that Molly McGruffin doll, Father of the Year material right there. You should be the Father of the Year. You did great, and I know that it was a fantastic gift. And he's like, yes, my daughter. I love her. One day she will be my finest possession. And I was like,
oh dear.
What? And then I just left, and I was like, okay.
You felt more prepared for that conversation than he did in that moment.
Yeah. And then like Hades was spot on.
I heard
Ernesto,
Hades was like the star of the show.
I was concerned, not concerned, but like there was some weird stuff that was happening with him.
Oh.
Where I got in line and he left.
Oh no.
Or when I was getting in line, he was leaving. I was like, oh, wait in line. Maybe he'll be back by the time that I get on. He came back while I was in line and then left again.
Oh.
Like 5 minutes later.
Maybe he was having some issues.
Something was happening.
Yeah.
And so I got out, I finished, and then I got back in line again. And then he came back on, and then he left again. And I was like, what? But then he finally like came back by the time that I made it to the front.
And stayed.
That's well, good. I don't know. He was there for when I walked up, but then he had an interaction with the person in front of me.
Oh.
So I didn't get an interaction with him, but it was fine because the guy in front of me, That's was really fun.
How it goes at Oogie Boogie Bash, though. Like you're not guaranteed like one-on-one interaction with the characters because you're on a treat trail and you're just constantly moving through. Yeah.
Also, Judge Doom.
Yeah.
Really good.
That's cool. He wasn't there when I went to Oogie Boogie.
There was this lady that was like yelling at him, and he's like, I'm looking for a rabbit. And she's like, I have a stuffed rabbit right here. And he was like kind of ignoring her. And she kept yelling. And he's like, I think you should have used a glue stick instead of a chapstick. And I was like, whoa.
Dang.
Judge Doom telling this lady to shut up without telling her to shut up.
I mean, but that's fun. That's the whole point of
that's Oogie Boogie right there.
Yeah. That's cool. So you had a good experience at Oogie Boogie?
Yeah. And then Oogie Boogie was really good, the character.
Yeah.
Lots of candy, weird treats. I wouldn't even call it candy or treats. We got a lot of goldfish.
Oh.
Got some fig bars.
Actually, I remember that from Oogie Boogie Bash.
Yeah.
They do like random treats.
Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, I remember that. It wasn't just candy.
Cranberries, dried cranberries, like craisins.
Yes, I remember this.
Yeah.
I feel like I got apples.
That was we used to get apples, or we might still get apples at Disney World.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I remember. Well, maybe I'm thinking of Oogie Boogie, but we did. Yeah, apples and grapes.
Yeah, I mean, we're not getting them this year. I went to Mickey's Not So Scary on Labor Day. And I got so much candy because at the end of the night, a cast member walked up to me and she was like, pixie dust had a moment where she was like, hey, she's like, do you want some candy? And she had a whole bag stuffed full of candy. And I was like, sure. She just gave it to me. But also, I didn't realize this, but I saw a video of it. At Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, the hitchhiking ghosts are inside of Diamond Horseshoe.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like standing on the stage interacting with guests as they go through that treat trail.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I saw a video of it. I'm going back to the party on Friday, so I'm going to try to like...
Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. You going to come do a run with me on Friday the 13th? Why didn't you sign up for this?
I'll be at the party. I have to work. It's for work.
That's all this time.
Also, that run is not my vibe.
I'm trying to get you to do a fun run. It's literally in the name of it. Fun. I'm going to walk the whole thing.
It is not a fun run.
It'll be fine. It's through Hallow Scream at SeaWorld. Yeah. 3 scare zones. You're not even going through houses.
Let me tell you, I'd run.
You'll be fine.
But no, I have to work Friday night. We're doing an event.
What? Are you going to be there till midnight?
At Mickey's Not So Scary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's when the race starts.
And we're staying at the Grand... All of this will have happened by then, but we're staying at the Grand Floridian. So I'm going to be trying to spend as much time in my room as possible. Also, my sister found out that I was staying at the Grand Floridian, so she booked a flight to come stay with me this weekend. I'll be working the whole time, and she's like, that's fine.
What? Dang.
Yeah. But anyways, Friday night for Mickey's Not So Scary, our whole team is dressing up as the Wildcats.
Wildcats.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say summertime, right? Zac Efron.
Summertime. Well, that's when you say, what time is it?
What time is it? Jackson's been watching Kindergarten, the musical.
What is that?
It's the spinoff. It's the Disney Junior spinoff of High School Musical.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, it's an animated
It's
kindergarten.
called Kindergarten
the musical.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I got to look this up.
Yeah.
Jackson should watch High School Musical.
No.
Why?
I don't think he would be interested in it.
Really?
Number one.
He'd be bored.
Yeah. There are some things, like we tried to get him to watch How to Train Your Dragon, and there was like the opening of How to Train Your Dragon is just like dragons fire everywhere, and he goes, "This is boring." I was like, all right, well, kid knows what he wants.
Epic as it gets.
Yeah.
Has he ever watched The Descendants?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Luke loved The Descendants, but
Just
that's
remember, Jackson's 4 years old.
Luke was like 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and loved it. That was like, you know how like when they're toddlers, they have a movie that they pick and they're like, I just want to watch this over and over again.
Oh, that hasn't.
No, Jackson never did that.
No, he just watches different shows.
No, Luke wanted to watch The Descendants over and over and over again. Every time. Descendants.
You know what Jackson wants to watch?
What?
Every old school Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck cartoon.
I love that. He is so your child.
He's like watching Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck from the 1930s.
He is 1000% your child. I love that.
And then he'll watch the Monster Truck Mater.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's fun. No, I mean, every kid has like different things that they want to watch, but Luke was Descendants and The Force Awakens.
You know what else I got when I was out at Disneyland? Started my collection.
Oh.
This is the only thing that I'm going to try to complete ever in my life.
What?
For the 70th anniversary of the Muppets, once a week, for 70 weeks, they are releasing a magnet from the Made kiosks of a different Muppet.
Oh, that's cool.
So I bought the first 3.
Okay. That's the Made kiosk. What's that?
Yeah, you know where you get those like phone cases and stuff.
Yeah. Interesting. So you have to go to Disney Springs once a week.
I can do it at the co-op or at
Magic Kingdom
at Space Mountain.
Yeah. Wow.
It's hard too because you have to buy them one at a time.
Yeah, that's dedication.
And
first, how many weeks?
70, and they'll be available. So they release once a week, and they're available for 30 days.
Oh my!
So that's how I was able to buy 3 of them.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So have you gotten yours for this week?
No, I don't know if they've announced it for this week. Let me just look here. They might have.
What were the first 3 characters?
The first 3 were Ralph was the first one. Rolf.
There's 70 Muppets characters?
Yeah, there's a lot. Probably more than 70.
Also, when you Google the Muppets, why do Sesame Street characters show up?
Because Sesame Streets are Muppets?
Are they?
Yeah.
Technically?
Yeah.
But they're not Disney property.
Right.
Why?
Disney doesn't own the Muppets.
But why does Big Bird not at Muppets?
I guess they do own the Muppets, but Jim kept Sesame Street separate, but they are still considered Muppets. Because the Muppet is a brand and a type of puppet.
Oh.
So Sesame Street.
So is
those
Yoda
characters,
a Muppet?
No, Yoda is a character or a creature.
I think Yoda should make an appearance in a Muppets movie.
Yeah, but he's not a Muppet.
I don't understand.
There's an account on Twitter called Muppet History, and they just went over all of that.
Because I was doing my research for the Muppets run coming up for Wine and Dine, and we were trying to decide which characters to run as. And so I was Googling different Muppets characters, and I was seeing like Big Bird and like Oscar, and I was like, I like these Muppets.
Yeah,
I like Sesame Street.
You can dress up as Big Bird or Oscar.
Can you see Big Bird running through Disney? Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
You'd have to run like this the whole time.
But that's not Disney to me.
Right. Well, SeaWorld.
Exactly. SeaWorld and Busch Gardens.
Yeah. So
why do they get to have that?
This is what Nick texted me. He said, which character should I dress up as? None of them, because you don't like any of them.
I said that I said this on last week's episode. I said that I text you. I was telling Jen, I text you which Muppets character should I dress up as, and you said you said something like, "What kind of question is this?" or something like that. And you were like, "You should dress up as the character that you like."
Yeah, that's it.
So I'm going to be Animal.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I've always had an appreciation for Animal.
You should really look up the backstory of Animal. Oh, it's very sweet.
Oh, that's cool. I'm going to look it up.
Look up Baby Animal.
There is he has like a chain that he wears. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm going to wear a chain.
You can get a plastic one.
Yeah. I got like I have some arts and crafts.
You gonna put like some wristbands, spiky wristbands on?
I don't think spiky. I found black bandanas that I might wear.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
you can just wear like those sweatbands, black sweatbands.
True.
Put some silver dots on them. That'd be fine.
Yeah, but I found pictures of him wearing
red
bandanas as well. No, I found a visor that I need to buy on Amazon that has like crazy hair at the top.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna spray paint it.
Okay.
And then
you're gonna wear cutoff jeans.
Well, he wears like brown pants.
Yeah, they're like cut off.
I think I'm gonna go looking at like Goodwill and try to find some that I can like destroy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's this for? The 10K?
5K.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wouldn't wear pants to like brown dress pants to do a half marathon.
One of those like suits, a bodysuit, makes you red, like animal.
I don't think I'm gonna be that dedicated.
Okay.
I also have to figure out what I'm gonna do because. So we know what we're running for the half marathon because the half marathon is the challenge. Like you also get your challenge medal for that, and it's Chef Mickey. So we're all being like Chef Mickey characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I found like really cool shorts that have like the like the lining inside is checkered, like what they have for like their costumes at Chef Mickey's. But we don't know what to do for the 10K because the 10K is Tiana themed.
Yeah.
And the people that I run with, they were already some of the Tiana characters.
You should be Larry.
Well, I said or the critters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Is that what you're doing?
I don't know. Maybe that's what I suggested.
But
they've never ridden the ride, so they're like, we don't really know who these critters are. And I'm like, well, first of all, we need to get you to ride the ride.
You guys should all dress up as different elements of gumbo.
I said we should be beignets and we should just cover ourselves in powdered sugar.
There you go. But like somebody could dress up as okra, and then people would be confused. They'd be like, "Oh, veggie, fruit. Veggie fruit." And they'd be like, "No,
I'm a shrimp."
Yeah, it'd be just garlic,
a pepper, okra.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I mean, for the 10K, you can get away with that kind of stuff. My costumes go like, if you're going to do a costume, you can go all out for the 5K. I don't know how people do it. Kudos to them when they do a half marathon and a full costume.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
People were wearing costumes during my half, and they're like, even beforehand, they sent out an email that was like, don't wear costumes. It's too hot.
Yeah.
They're like, don't try your best. It's too hot. They literally said that in the email. They're like, this might not be the run for you to go for a personal record.
They said that, like Run Disney sent that. Yeah. Well, good. They were being intentional about telling people to like pace themselves. Yeah.
What's the name of the lady? That's the announcer.
Carissa.
Carissa was like, if you start to feel yourself get goosebumps, stop.
Yeah.
She's like, you're not supposed to be getting goosebumps when it's 100 degrees outside.
Right. Yeah.
She's like, if you hear water sloshing around in your stomach and your hands start to swell, stop. And I was like, I don't know what any of that means, but
really,
it's scary.
My hands feel tingly sometimes when I run. Yeah,
you shouldn't run. I saw people like raising their hands up. Is that what they're doing?
Circulation, yeah. But part of that's just from like running and your hands being like down the entire time.
No.
Yeah, my fingers sometimes tingle and my feet will tingle sometimes.
I got a huge blister on one of my toes.
Blisters are the worst.
Yeah, I felt it happening around mile 3, and I was like, "Oh,
that was during the half."
Yeah,
at least it was the half and not like. Imagine getting a blister on the 5K and then having to run the half or the 10K and then the half.
That's the thing about the half was I did it differently than the 5K and the 10K. The 5K, I like ran, and then the last mile I walked.
Yeah.
Like slowly.
Yeah.
I felt bad because people are like, "Go, you're almost there." I'm like, "Thank you. I'm just walking this." And then the 10, I ran the first mile before I started walking, and then I like intermittently ran. For the most part, I was kind of like jogging that.
Yeah.
And then I was fine. But because I was kind of walking fast for the half, I was doing different movements with my feet than I was used to. That's why I got a blister.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
So,
yeah. I love it. I can't wait for a race season. Bring it on. Can't wait.
What do you do with your watch for a full marathon?
What do you mean?
Mine died by the end of a half marathon.
How?
I don't know. I do Nike Run to track my stuff.
I do Apple's like running.
Probably.
Maybe that saves more battery.
Yeah. because I'm able to do like different things on
this
the
is
Nike
a new
one.
watch, so I haven't used this one during like a race season yet, but mine lasts for a long time.
My watch dies really fast.
Really?
Yeah.
You should go get that checked out for your next run.
I'm not doing it.
I know that this has been a very run heavy podcast so far, run Disney heavy podcast, but we needed to talk
Good
about
news. It's the last one. Never doing it again.
For you, maybe.
Yeah. I'm so happy I'm not running. Like, I feel so good, like, knowing that I'm not going to wake up early and go for a run. I am going to start lifting again, but, like, I'm not going to run ever again. It's great.
You
My
feel
life
a
is
sense of
good.
freedom.
As soon as I walked in the door, I got off the plane, picked up Jackson from school, which was really exciting. It was a really fun moment. Oliver was freaking out when I walked in the door.
Because he was so
like,
excited.
And I was like, this is great. And I picked up Jackson from school, so he like jumped up and hugged me and was like trying to climb higher on me. And so by the time I had him, he was like up on my head.
He didn't want to let you go.
Yeah.
That's precious.
But
that's your high dad soup moment.
Yeah, I was coming home to those two.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But then as soon as I like put my stuff down, Jackson's like, let's run. And I was like,
yeah, you text me that. You're like, Jackson wants me to run with it.
Yeah, he just wants to run back and forth in the house. He's like, let's race. And I was like, all right. He's like, you're not running. I was like, I can't.
That's how I'm going to get you to run Disney race again. I'm going to get in with Jackson and be like, Jackson.
I want him to do a kids run. They did that out there, but I didn't
wish they
see
would
it.
Do it here.
Yeah, I wanted to see like what it was. Like, how far did they run?
I don't think it's very far.
I know it's not, but like, how far was it?
I don't know.
I saw that they ran in groups of 10.
Okay.
And they moved it forward because of the heat. They like moved the time forward.
Maybe a mile?
That's pretty far.
Does that feel like too far?
Yeah, because it was just in the parking lot. Like, it was in the family reunion area.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know what the course was.
Yeah.
I didn't ever see anything that like showed the course.
I don't know.
I saw the medal. The medal was like the medal you get for doing the Castaway Key 5K.
Okay. Yeah, like
it's like plastic, like rubbery thing.
Yeah, I wish that they would do that here because the boys would do it. Although Luke is like, he wants to run a 10K. He's just not old enough.
Jeez. How old do you have to be? 13?
I think so.
Yeah. That seems like a normal.
Ethan, or maybe 10.
Oh, 10K 10.
Ethan wants to run, or Ethan does not want to run.
Ethan's like, I just want to dress up in an outfit.
He says no thank you. Yeah.
That's all that I want to do is wear a costume.
Wear a costume and then let me live my life. You guys enjoy your time.
Have fun.
Yeah. But anyways, Hi Dad Soup, my moment would be, I had fun moments with both of the boys this week, but Luke and I went to Miami together to go watch
sports.
The Canes play. Yeah. But it wasn't so much the game. We had a great time.
Did you get any clarification on the ibises?
No, I didn't ask anybody.
I
did see Sebastian a few times.
Should have asked him.
He doesn't talk.
I went to Storytellers. Sorry to interrupt your Hi Dad Soup, but I went to Storytellers and had an entire like 20-minute conversation with Mickey about tattoos and stuff like that. No talking.
I will say that the Disney characters are far more animated and trained professionally than the mascots
Sebastian.
At sports games. Yeah.
Mickey made me steal food.
Oh, wow.
I was like trying to leave and he's like, did you get enough food? And I was like, yeah. He's like, no, come with me. And I was like, all right. And he took me over and I was like, I'm leaving. What do you want? He's like, no, you take this. And I was like, what? And he's like, take this banana. And he like put it in my pouch.
But I don't feel like that's stealing. He's the boss.
That's what he said. I said, am I allowed to do that? He goes,
yeah, like you're getting this from the man in charge.
I'm the boss.
Yeah, he runs.
And I was like,
place.
all right. And then he like shoved an apple in there. And then he was like,
good for me.
He like grabbed a box of Rice Krispies and he's like, take this too. And I was like, I don't have any more room. And he's like putting it in my pocket. And I'm like, what in the world is going on?
That sounds like such a fun like interaction.
It was fun, but it was wild.
Yeah, that's not how it goes with Sebastian.
Oh, he should.
He's just there to like amp everybody up, you know.
He should. I have a friend who was Albert.
Oh, really?
From UF, yeah.
Yeah. UF.
Oh. Man.
Don't love them. But we beat them, so
anger. Sorry, finish your Hi Dad Soup.
I totally lost track. Oh, so we went to the game, had a great time at the game together. But about an hour away from getting to Miami, my car started shaking a ton.
Ooh.
And I was like, what? No, not exciting. I was like, what is going on right now? So we were close enough to where we needed to go, where I was like, okay, we're going to stop. I'm going to look at the tires, make sure that the tires are safe, and just like kind of check everything else out. And I did, and everything was fine. Like everything looked normal. We had just stopped at a rest area to get some food. So I was like, I don't know where this came from. Like, why is it doing this all of a sudden? I had taken it to the mechanic earlier that week because I needed to replace one of the wheel wells on it. It had like snapped. So I was getting like a scraping sound every time I turned left on the car.
Yeah.
So they had replaced that. And so the mechanic was like, yeah, it's good. I was like, okay, I'm going to drive it to Miami this weekend. Like, should be fine. He was like, yeah, totally. You're good to go. And I was like, okay, sweet. He was like, he and I had been talking, and I was like, I know that I'm going to need new brakes eventually in the front. Like, I know that those are like, the time is coming for those. And he's like, yeah, but you should be okay. Like, next time you bring it in for an oil change, like, let's get that taken care of. So, so then all of a sudden the car starts shaking, and I was like, what is going on? Like, where did this come from? And at that point, it was later in the day. The game was getting ready to start.
Did it stop shaking as you slowed down?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it just kept shaking. So we were getting ready to like, we needed to get to the game. And I was like, you know what? We had a hotel room booked already. I was like, let's just like go to the game. The hotel was really close to the stadium. And then in the morning, we'll figure out the car situation.
So you just continued driving for an hour with it shaking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was not as bad at first, but then like it started feeling like this doesn't feel normal. Like, this is strange.
Was the steering wheel shaking too?
Everything felt like it was shaking. And the car was like sort of like pulling to the right.
Oh yeah, good times.
Yeah. I was like, this is not good. So anyways, we got there, did our thing with the game, all that kind of stuff. It was a blast. It was honestly like so much fun. Like Luke and I had such a great time together. We also we went to one of the away games last year in Boston with the family. We went and watched Miami play Boston College because we were in Boston for Thanksgiving last year. And one of Luke's favorite players came up to him after the game and gave him one of his gloves.
Oh.
And Luke was on cloud 9 and has not let go of that glove basically since then. And so we walked down to where like the players come out of the stadium and like reunite with their families and stuff before they get on the bus. And that player came out and signed the glove that he had given Luke and took pictures with him and stuff like that, which was really cool. It was a really special moment. But anyways, we go. It's just fun to get that. And I've been able to do it with both Luke and Ethan, taking them to Miami games now, where you get that like one-on-one individual time with them. It's like really special. And we went to the hotel the next morning. We get up. We go to, there was a Jiffy Lube like multi-care center. They like did more than just oil changes.
Yeah.
So it was right by the hotel. I was like, let's just take the car there and see what they say. I told them what was going on. I told them that I had just had like the wheel well fixed. I was like, I don't know if that could have something to do with what's happening. And they were like, no, probably not. They looked at my tires and they were like, your tires look totally fine. They're like, but your brakes, like they are definitely like need to be replaced. And I was like, well, I knew that was coming. And I was like, could that be what's like causing this to shake? And they said probably. And I was like, okay. I don't know that much about cars.
Okay.
It's such a problem not knowing about cars because you're at the total mercy of mechanics, which is when they can take advantage of you for sure.
Right.
And that sucks. But I was like Googling it out, like while they're talking to me, I was like Googling, like, can your car shake from bad brakes? And it said yes.
When you're hitting the brakes.
Oh, see, I don't know these things.
Okay.
It didn't make sense for it to not, but it's just my lack of knowledge when it comes to vehicles.
Right.
And so, like I know very basic things like oil changing and stuff like that. Yeah. But anyway, so I was like, okay, well, either way, the brakes needed to be replaced. And I was like, so yeah, go ahead and do that. So they did it. I drive away.
Still shaking.
Still shaking. Like immediately in the parking lot. And I was like, this car is still shaking.
They didn't even take it for a test drive after the brakes?
No, it's Jiffy Lube. They're like, all right, see ya. Thank you for your $500 for the new brakes. So anyways, I was like, okay, well, this is frustrating. And there was a Firestone like right down the road. So I was like, well, maybe the alignment's off. Like maybe that's what's causing it to shake this way. So I take it over to Firestone. The guy...
Good guess, by the way.
Thanks. But apparently not, because the guy looked at me like I was a fool when I was like, could it be an alignment issue? And he was like, no.
If it's pulling, it could be.
Yeah, well, that's what I told him. I was like, it's pulling to the right. And he was like, that's not going to cause it to shake. And I was like, okay. I hate when people like talk to you like you're an idiot too.
Right.
It's like, I'm sorry. This is not... Ask me about social media needs. Ask me about theme parks. Like I've got you there, but I don't look at you like an idiot when you ask me those questions. Anyways, So the guy was like, well, let me take it for a test drive and like see what's going on and let me see if I can figure it out. And he was very knowledgeable. He drove the car.
He drove it and he goes, I got to throw it out.
No, he drove the car and then he came back in and he was like, he goes, it's not an alignment issue. He goes, your front, the driver's side tire on the front was separated on the inside.
Okay.
Didn't even know that was like,
and they didn't see that at the other place?
Apparently
they looked at the tires and said, they're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And like, it's not something like you can visibly see, like just looking at the tire, unless you know what you're looking for or like feeling it. Because the guy, I was like, can you show me what you're talking about? And he did. Like, you can see where it's, when I say bubbling, that sounds very extreme. Like, it's not like it was like, bursting, but there was a lump in the tire because of what was happening on the inside. Why they didn't recognize that at Jiffy Lube, I have no idea. But anyways, it was this whole fiasco. The guy was like, I can replace it, but it's going to take, I can't even get to it for like another 2 hours. And I wanted to go home. Like, it was Sunday. We were ready to get back home. We had a 3.5 hour drive ahead of us. I was like, okay, that's okay. There's a Costco right down the road. We have a Costco membership. Let's see if they can replace it. Yeah. And usually they have pretty good deals on tires too. Yeah. So we go down to the Costco. That Costco was packed, like so many people. I walked in and they're like, yeah, we don't have any more walk-ins available for today. And I was like, okay. And I'm getting stressed and frustrated, and Luke can tell, like, I'm just like ready to get on the road. And Luke has a moment where he looks at me and he's like, Daddy, I can tell that you're stressed, but I just want you to know that I'm having so much fun with you. And I was just like,
that's nice.
I'm getting emotional like thinking about it, because it's like that checks you, I have tears in my eyes. It does, because you're just like, and it's a stressful and frustrating situation. Like, I'm not faulting myself for being stressed and frustrated over having just spent $500 on new brakes and then continuing to have these issues.
Yeah.
But it checks you and puts you in place of being like, you know what, Nick, just like focus and have fun with your kid right now.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks what's happening with the car, but like, he doesn't care about that. All he cares about is the fact that he's on
got to go to Costco.
Yeah.
Got to see the giant skeleton.
We didn't even get to go inside Costco. We just walked into the tire center. But like, it checked me, and I was like, you know what, like, let's do this. Like, let's make the most out of this situation. Let's have fun with it. I called the Jiffy Lube back, and I was like, FYI, it's a tire issue. And they did tires there, and they were like, well, we can get it done in 30 minutes. And I was like, okay, great. So we went back to Jiffy Lube. The Jiffy Lube was right next to a Whole Foods that we had went and walked around in the morning when they were replacing the brakes. So we just went back to Whole Foods, and we just were like trying all the snacks. We were laughing. We were having a great time. And it ended up being like so much fun, and something that we won't forget. Like, we'll always remember the road trip to Miami where we got stuck in Miami for like 6 or 7 hours waiting for car things to get fixed. But I think as like the greater picture there as parents, like, I would never fault anybody for getting frustrated and stressed out because of having, I ended up spending $1,000 on my car that day that I was not anticipating. Like, that is stressful. That is not what is going to put you in good.
Which car was this?
My Nissan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it have a full-size spare or a donut?
My dad asked me this question. I was like, Dad, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because if it had a full-size spare, I would have just been like, pop that boy on there and let's drive.
That's what my dad told me too. But the tires, like, well, first of all, that tire was going to have to get replaced, obviously, because it's separated.
But you could have dealt with it back here.
Yeah. I would have called my mechanic and been like, yo, did you realize that the tire had separated? And also, like, didn't realize that the brakes were like that bad, like we had talked about it and you had been inspecting it. But anyways.
I'm on your mechanic side with the brakes though.
Well, I think that brakes can be pushed until you're having a serious problem with them, for sure.
You should replace your, but don't listen to, if your brakes are bad, replace them. It's very important for you to be able to stop.
But I trusted the mechanic.
Yeah.
The mechanic knew that the brakes were not in a dangerous position.
If they're not making noise when you're driving, you're fine.
And they weren't. They had some life, very little life left in them, for sure.
There's a thing on brake pads that when they get down so low, it starts scraping.
Right.
And it's
metal
just
to metal.
Yeah, it's just a noise thing. It doesn't do anything.
Right.
It's specifically so that you can hear it when you're driving forward.
So
it's like, and then you're like, oh, that's an alarm.
And I wasn't getting that quite yet.
Yeah.
I've had brake issues in the past and know like what that sounds like and can tell like when I stop the car. Oh yeah, that doesn't feel like it should be happening.
Unless you're driving a Ford, it just sounds like that all the time when you're driving a Ford. The power steering pump on a Ford is like.
That is one of my insecurities, not having information on vehicles, and I think that society says that as men we should have that information.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a stereotype that like we're big cars guys.
Yeah.
And by not having it, I sometimes feel like less of a man.
Well, I will tell you this. I can feel that trend of anybody knowing anything about cars moving away.
Yeah, and I don't I guess it's probably because people used to work on their own cars so much,
right?
And now you just take them to mechanics.
Well, but you can't. There are cars that I can't work on either of my cars.
Right. That'd be like working on a golf cart.
Well,
I feel like you personally
I could work on I have worked on the Tesla before.
Yeah.
But
it's much more difficult than just like a mechanical thing. It's like an electric thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like high voltage too.
Right,
so it's like dangerous.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I just it is, and it sucks because I don't always have that information, and so it's like, hey, Dad.
Yeah, it's okay
but sometimes my dad doesn't even have the information, but that's okay. Like there's professionals that do that.
Yeah.
So
and I also call my dad.
Yeah.
So
gotta love dads.
Yeah.
But what's scary to me is that one day Luke's gonna call and be like, how do I fix this? I'd be like, heck if I know. But you know what else I think happens? Personal experience is what teaches you as well.
Right. Now you know.
Yeah, I know. Like, oh, my car's shaking. Well, it's your brakes. No, it's not brakes.
Also, it could have been your alignment.
Yeah, maybe. And when they put the new tires on, it fixed itself or something.
No, it was the tire.
Sure,
that was the issue. But I'm saying when you went
that's what I'm saying. I thought it was an alignment issue, and this is where I felt like I was proud of myself for having this knowledge, because I was actively having to sort of like pull the car, like tilt the wheel to the left, because if I let it go, I know that if I let the steering wheel go and my car's drifting into the other lane, that feels like an alignment issue.
Right, but also potentially be aware that all roads are built at
sure
tilt for the
but this was like
runoff.
This wasn't just like a slight tilt. This was like, I'm having to actively engage here.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we made it through, and the high dad suit moment was for sure just Luke being like, just having the best time. I mean, he was like, we were walking when we went to the second time to Jiffy Lube. Well, actually, this would have been the fourth time walking back up to go pick up the car after they had replaced the tires. We're getting ready to walk into the store, and something that's very popular in South Florida, like they're everywhere, are iguanas. And we hadn't seen one while we were there, but there was an iguana in the tree by the Jiffy Lube, and he goes, "That's it." He's like, "This has all been worth it." He was like, "Look at that iguana." And I was just like, it's the simple things. Like they're so common in South Florida.
They're not supposed to be there.
Yeah, no, the invasive species, and they're making their way north.
Yeah.
We'll start having them all over here.
Then we got boa constrictors too down in the Everglades.
I don't like iguanas. They creep me out.
Yeah. They're pretty funny when they fall out of the tree when it's cold.
Yeah. Luke loves them though.
Yeah.
He just likes reptiles.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so we did it. This has been a really long episode, not getting to any park news yet, but that's okay.
We can do it now.
We had a lot to talk about. We don't have a ton of park news to share. Yeah. There's been a few things. We touched on some things last week. We talked about last week while you weren't here. By the way, thank you to Jen and Francie for jumping on the episode last week.
They did great. I haven't listened to it yet, but they did great.
I do want you to listen to that one.
I will. I'm going to.
It was a fun one. But I am looking forward to the day where all four of us are together on an episode, because it was a lot of fun.
Did you ask Jen any trivia?
No.
Oh.
No, we didn't do any trivia questions. We just did, and you know what? I forgot the Halloween box with me. I should have brought it. We could have done some trivia to end this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Boo or false?
Did you do that with them?
No.
What the heck?
No, I polled our Instagram followers for questions and just pulled the questions from what people submitted.
Okay.
They were really fun. Like, it was a lot of fun questions. A lot of it was just like what some of their favorite things at Disney were.
And
then, but then it got a little deep. It got about like career and being moms and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was fun.
There you go. Did they have a high mom soup?
No,
moment?
they didn't. Someone said, "Give us your high mom soup moment," and I forgot to ask that question.
I leave for 1 week.
Everything falls apart. It was funny because we definitely were just like, Jen was laughing because she was winging it with her tech. I think she like set up her phone on a box in the living room. And it was just like, she was like, we were all like, this is what happened when Tim's not here.
Well, it's because I took everything with me.
Well, yeah, but also just like, it's just, you are the tech guy.
Yeah.
We appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
She gave us 3 words to describe you.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen.
Yeah, you have to. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Francie gave 3 words to describe me. Talked about whether she has FOMO when we're in the parks or not. Talked about what do you think like her favorite ride at Magic Kingdom is?
Her favorite ride at Magic Kingdom? Let's see here. I have to think if she went with fun to ride or like emotional attachment.
Oh.
Because I would say Dumbo for emotional attachment.
No. So maybe fun to ride.
Something fun to ride?
I think, probably.
Let's see. Her favorite ride at maybe Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah. Because Jackson's first ride was Dumbo. That's why I said Dumbo.
Emotional attachment. Yeah.
Yeah, Big Thunder Mountain's her favorite ride.
Yeah, she said that was her favorite. We went through every park. Which one was her favorite? I won't quiz you on all of those.
No.
Because I do think that it would be fun one day to do like a newlywed game of like you guys versus me and Francie. See who comes out victorious.
Tower of Terror.
They also planned a mom's cruise where the two of them are going to go on a cruise together and just read the entire time.
Okay.
And we laughed because I was like, can you imagine how different like Tim and I going on a cruise together would be? Like if anyone suggested like, okay, you guys are going to go on a cruise together and you're just going to sit around and read the entire time, we'd both be like, we're over this very quickly. Like we'd be like,
depends on what I'm reading. But
we would both want to like go do things.
Yeah.
Francie and Jen, I think, would be fine like not doing anything.
Yeah.
Just like chilling and reading. We'd be like we would probably read some, but then we get to a point where we'd be like, but that trivia sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to go witness this thing. So we would have a harder time staying still than they would.
I think so. I'm going to read the Chilton's manual for your car.
That's what you're stuck on in your brain. Right? I could tell that you totally weren't there with me in that conversation.
I'm
you were
ready.
Thinking about something else.
Thinking about your car.
I should have called you.
No, I probably wouldn't have had it right. I would have said your alignment. Maybe
I did text you.
I would have said your the balancing on your tires.
I did text you and said, I don't even know what that means, by the way.
The balancing on the oh, okay.
Because I know you have to go get your tires balanced, but what does that mean?
They put weights on. Yeah, like you ever balance the fan?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Oh, interesting.
You know how if you have a fan and it like wobbles?
Yeah.
Tires will do that too.
Interesting.
Because they never get it exactly center on the rim, and there's no way to like manufacture a tire that's perfectly equal on all sides, like with the amount of rubber.
So they have to balance them literally?
Yeah, they put them on a big thing and it spins them, and then it like feels the force on the center.
Feel the force.
Yeah, and so then it tells them like, okay, you have to put this much weight right here. And they put the weight there, and then it spins up again, and it's straight as an arrow.
Never knew.
Yeah, look on your tires. You'll see little weights in there.
Huh. Didn't know that.
Point them out to you when we get out to the car.
Yeah, these are the things that I learned. But I appreciate the knowledge. What was I saying?
I don't know. You were talking about we were going to go into news.
Oh,
wait. News. I thought the thing was going to say news. I forgot.
You forgot that that's your role.
Yeah, I thought that this like noise board was going to be like news. Yay.
I did want to acknowledge something today. Also, today we're recording this on September 11th, and I just wanted to take a second to acknowledge like anybody who was personally affected by that day. Like I think everybody who lived through that was affected just in watching everything unfold, but anyone who like personally was connected to anybody who lost their lives that day, like I just wanted to like send my condolences and just say that we're thinking about you and we won't forget it. So,
yeah.
Anyways, and it's sticking on like sort of a sad side of the news. This is something that I just feel like we talk about theme parks and like parks that are influenced by so much Disney media. It would be remiss not to mention that James Earl Jones passed away this week.
Yeah. 93, lived a very long life. His legend will absolutely like live on in the characters that he gave us. Not just like, obviously you think about it from like a Disney perspective and you think about Disney parks and you've got Darth Vader and you've got Mufasa, which are iconic characters. But then I also just think about other movies like The Sandlot. And, just like other media. Angels in the Outfield. No, Field of Dreams.
Yeah. Don't mix those up again.
Sorry.
We did watch Angels in the Outfield while you were away. It was great. The boys loved it. Luke in particular was a big fan. But yeah, so that made me sad this week.
Yeah, it was sad.
I legitimately was sad. Like, obviously, like, you know, he was older for sure, but it's still sad that, you know, he is gone. And it also is just like, it makes me emotional thinking about like the impact that he's made. Like Every time that I watch Happily Ever After, I get chills and get choked up when Mufasa
Remember
speaks.
who you are.
And the next time that I'm going to watch it, I'm probably going to cry because I'll be thinking about it. So, anyways, and Darth Vader's such an iconic character. Like, what would the world be like without Vader in it? You know?
Yeah. Luke wouldn't have a father.
It was so sad. Mark Hamill tweeted like, "Rest in peace, Dad."
Yeah.
Ugh, so sad. But anyways, I know it's a weird transition, but we're going to transition into like actual news now.
I can transition even weirder.
Okay.
So speaking of celebrities, I got to sit in front of Mark McGrath on the plane.
Yeah, that's exciting.
There he was. I saw him. I said,
for those who don't know who that is,
he's the singer from Sugar Ray.
Right.
He had just performed at Epcot.
Yeah.
That's why he was on the plane from Orlando to LA.
Yeah. So cool.
So,
did you talk to him?
No.
Why?
I did. I said, "Oh, sorry, I got to get my bag." That was it.
You didn't acknowledge who he was?
No, because like he's just trying to get home on his plane flight.
Yeah.
You know?
But so?
I don't know. I'm just trying to leave the man alone. He's just trying to fly on a plane.
It's interesting because like if someone, obviously I'm a very smaller scale than this, like incredibly smaller scale. But if someone sees me at a theme park and then they message me later and they said, "I saw you, but I didn't want to bother you," or "I didn't want to say anything," I get like annoyed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm like, what the heck? Like, I like to talk to people.
Yeah. See, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to talk to anybody. Maybe he's tired.
True.
You know?
After
he just performed at Epcot.
But do you feel like if you like dropped the handkerchief and been like, "Hey, like, love your stuff," then he could be like, "Oh, thanks," and then that would be it?
Yeah, he totally would have done that. He was very nice to people on the plane. He talked to the lady next to me.
But he could have also just been like, "Oh, thanks. Like, where are you traveling to?" And then like, "Oh, cool, we get to engage now."
Yeah.
Because that's what I do when I meet people that listen to the podcast or follow me on Instagram. I'm like, "Where are you from?" But if it's in a moment where I've got like a lot going on or something's happening, I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much," and then we just like
see. But we were on a plane. We talked about this.
True. You don't want to talk at all anyway.
It's not that I don't want to talk, but I don't want him to feel trapped. Like he might try to be nice, even if he's having a bad day.
But he wasn't sitting next to you, right?
Right.
So he wouldn't have.
But I also didn't want other people to notice.
True.
And like cause a chain reaction type thing.
And then everybody's like,
and then he's just like,
"Thanks, bro."
It's singing, "I just want to fly"
for the whole
across
plane.
the intercom. You know,
that's how you trapped him.
Yeah, because I said hi to him. Even one person did take a photo with him, the lady next to me, and she like waited until they were like deboarding.
Yeah, that makes sense. Totally makes sense. I would.
And he was very nice. He like had a conversation with her about her child.
Yeah, so he would have talked to you.
Talked to they had dogs. He like petted a dog.
It's different that you weren't sitting right next to him too. If you were sitting next to him, I would have engaged in conversation.
I would have said hello to him.
Yeah.
But then like, how'd you do at Epcot? That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I would have gone back to watching. What did I watch on the way out there?
Some horror movie or something.
Probably something. No, it was all new movies.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's the problem.
Have you watched Dune 2 yet?
Yeah, that's what I watched. No, I watched that coming back from tried to watch it coming back from D23.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. I watched Dune 2.
Yeah.
On the way back from D23.
Oh, okay.
So
did you like it?
No.
Oh, why?
I don't know. Maybe if I was tired, so I fell asleep. I don't know.
That's
what happened the first time I watched Dune 1. Is I fell asleep too.
I mean, they're not like I don't know. They're a slower movie for sure.
Mm-hmm. I made it halfway through the Hunger Games.
You've never watched the Hunger Games?
No, the new one.
Oh, it's Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds.
Yeah, it was good.
Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah, I got the snakes and songbird part.
Yeah,
I got through to that.
That's good. It's intense. It's a darker version of the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched Oppenheimer. Did not like it.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, don't watch it. It's fine.
It feels like it might be boring.
It wasn't boring necessarily, but it was not the movie that I wanted to watch.
I have been binging Harry Potter.
Oh, well, there you go.
Just watching all of them. It feels like spooky season's here. That's what I got to do.
Fall Guy. Watch Fall Guy. You should watch Fall Guy. Okay. That's my boy, Ryan.
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah. No, not Ryan Reynolds.
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll check that out for sure.
And then I watched something else too, other than Fall Guy, but I don't remember what it was.
I have also been watching the morning show.
Oh, with Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Such a good show. Very interesting. Like they go through COVID, and it was just fascinating to watch all of that like be acted out on television.
Apple TV puts out some good stuff.
Ted Lasso season 4 is coming back, and I cannot wait.
I feel like I should watch Ted Lasso.
Have you never seen it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you should watch it. I feel like you would enjoy it.
I'm in the middle of Only Murderers, so.
Oh, I'm about to start that.
You should.
Ted Lasso is one of my all-time favorite shows. And Ted Lasso himself is one of my all-time favorite characters. I relate to Ted in a lot of ways.
You might relate to a character from Only Murders in the Building.
Really?
Yeah. Kamal Nanjiani in the final season, or in this next season, the season that's out right now.
I'll have to let you know.
He's an influencer.
Oh, interesting. Well, Ted Lasso's
but he's a fitness influencer. So
not me.
You're a Run Disney guy.
My brother's more of a fitness influencer.
Oh.
Well, he's a coach. He's a CrossFit coach.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Back to the news.
Okay. Other random pieces of information. Walt Disney World confirmed that Blizzard Beach is opening on November 4th, which means that Typhoon Lagoon will close on November 3rd.
Well, we should explain that. At the end of the day on November 3rd, they will close.
Correct.
So there's not like a day in between.
Correct. And basically, I think what that means is that the cast members that work at Typhoon Lagoon will basically all just be picking up shifts at Blizzard Beach the next day. Yeah. Or maybe not the next day, but they're basically taking that staffing and moving them to Blizzard Beach. I will say, and I've seen people...
Water parks also need refurbishment all the time.
Yeah, but I also have seen people complain about the fact that both parks are never open at the same time. And that is frustrating because when you buy a water park pass or add that on to your annual pass, you're not adding that on for one water park, but that's all you're ever getting access to.
Right.
So it feels like they should either clarify that in the language for the annual pass or lower the price.
Okay.
Because that's frustrating.
Yeah.
The fact that you're paying for 2 water parks but only ever getting to access one feels wrong to me.
Gotcha.
Do you disagree?
No, I don't disagree.
Oh.
I just don't know if that'll ever happen.
Yeah, it probably won't. But,
no.
but or then just like open both parks eventually.
Yeah. That's a COVID thing.
Yeah, it has not been the same since COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure it has to do with attendance. I'm sure they're like, it doesn't justify us to open both of these parks because they're not ever like at capacity. Or if they are, it's very few and far between, especially in November.
Yeah.
But that's fine. But then I feel like it should cost less to have a water park pass.
But it's water park, sports, and stuff like that
but like,
too.
When are you just like going to hang out at Wide World of Sports?
I went and I did mini golf.
The park, mini golf makes sense.
I played 3 holes and left because I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels remiss to me. And especially like water parks now, like in 2025, we don't know an official date for this, but in 2025, you're going to have the ability to go to the park on your check-in day.
Mm-hmm.
Complimentary. So I don't know. That feels a little bit of a mess to me, but anyways, that's my 2 cents. Disney added Isabella and Luisa at Disneyland. I have not seen any footage of them, and you were saying that
I went and I said, "Is the family coming today?" And he said, "Mirabelle has a lot of chores to do, so she probably won't make it out here because she's not allowed to leave Casita until she finishes her chores."
Yeah.
And then she said, and then he said the other sisters are somewhere else.
Interesting.
And I said, okay.
It was supposed to start on September 3rd.
Yeah.
So that's confusing to me.
I think it's the heat. They're probably going to start today.
Okay. Yeah, because the heat has gone down.
Yeah, now the heat's gone down.
Well, I feel like it also is very timely because starting on Sunday, so the day after or day before this episode drops, Hispanic and Latin Heritage Month starts on September 15th. And it feels like timely for them to add those characters in celebration of that. But I don't know, it just feels confusing. Also, I want to talk more about like all of the celebration that will be happening at Walt Disney World. I think that I'll be able to experience a lot of that in this next week, and then we'll report back on like all of the happenings next week for that. So
yeah.
There's a lot of food, not a lot of food, but some food items that have shown up. And I think Bruno is going to be meeting with Mirabelle.
Yeah, I think so.
I think.
I feel like I remember seeing that.
I'll confirm that. I know they're meeting together at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, but
maybe that's what I saw.
Yeah, I'll find out like if that has changed at all in terms. But there's like merchandise that shows up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for more information on that.
What's next? Universal?
Everything else, like
we're getting a wicked experience.
Right, yeah. Which is fun.
Taking over the Universe old store. I don't know what it's called. It's called Universe.
Yeah.
It's like streetwear.
Yeah.
And Hello Kitty and Betty Boop. Those are all going away. turning into Wicked.
Yeah, which will be interesting.
Yeah.
Wicked's going to have its own merchandise, which is exciting. I think that like a lot of people are excited about this movie. I'm excited about the movie. You know who really wants to see this movie is Luke.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like I want to see that. It's like on his list.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's going to be merchandise. There's going to be photo ops, and there's going to be props from the movie.
Costumes
and props.
And then it says immersive recreation of scenes from the film.
Immersive. Ooh.
Yeah, probably like really cool like photo opportunities, like 3D photo opportunities.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fun, and I think like it's encouraging and exciting to see that they're utilizing that IP, and I think that they should find more ways to utilize that.
Yeah.
In the parks. Like, why not give us a Wicked attraction?
Well, so I have a friend that was asking, do you think that this is a height check balloon? Meaning, do you think this is a test?
Right. To see if people are like engaged and interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I it is fascinating, but if they are, I think they should roll with that.
Yeah.
I think it's a potential of a really big IP, and they'll want to see how the movie does as well, for sure. But
when's the movie come out? Do you know?
I think originally it was supposed to be after like Thanksgiving, but I think that they moved it. I can't remember if it's the week before, the week after, because of Moana 2. I mean, obviously they didn't say because of Moana 2, but they put a little bit of difference there to not have it competing with each other.
And I think that it's both opening in both California and Orlando, and I think Orlando is opening first in October.
Yeah, so in preparation for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think there's going to be a lot of hype around this movie, and it makes sense. It looks like a lot of fun from the trailers. I think that there are some people who are like Wicked, like super fans that are nervous about the movie for sure, which makes sense. They're very passionate about the musical, so they want it to do it justice. But from what I've seen, I'm excited and think it looks fun.
Is that it? Is that all the news?
There was something else I was going to say, and it totally escapes my head.
Oh. I don't know.
I'm in a
Some of the dates for Very Merry are already starting to sell out.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Nothing for Jollywood yet.
Nope, nothing sold out for Jollywood. Don't sleep on Jollywood. I think they're going to come back with a vengeance.
I got to go to a press event for work last week. It was really fun. Got to interview like different people. But there was a lot of conversations around Jollywood Nights, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I got to see some of the merchandise in person. Got to see some of the merch for a Very Merry Christmas Party in person. I got to see the medals for Run Disney, which was exciting. Got to see the Dopey medal.
Whoa.
I was like, I want that. But yeah, I mean, I think like it'll be good. It'll be exciting. I've been back to Food and Wine a couple of times. The pumpkin ravioli, so good.
Okay.
Definitely.
I'm going to go back pretty soon.
Definitely high up on my list of things that you should try if you go. I did get to go, and I got to see a lot of people that listen to the podcast, and it was so fun. Like, it was fun getting to like find out what they enjoyed. I got to meet a couple that was sitting outside in the new like Harvest Hollow area.
Okay, yeah.
And I talked to them for a while. I actually sat down at their table in typical Nick
They're
fashion.
Like, what are you doing?
No. She was like,
them.
this is like the airplane thing, and I was like, exactly.
Yeah. See.
I don't think they felt trapped, but
she mentioned the airplane thing. That means that she was thinking about being trapped.
She's like, please leave.
Yeah, she's like, this is exactly what it would be like to be trapped on an airplane with you.
No, I think she meant like conversational wise. Well, now you make me feel bad. Sorry if you felt trapped. No, I don't think that was the case at all. But it was fun because we got to talk for a while about all the food that they had been trying. And she was asking me what I recommended, and then she told me that she was like a chef, and she did learned culinary, had a culinary experience in Italy. She like lived in Italy and cooked in Italy. And I was like, why am I telling you what you should be trying? Like, you should tell me. But she did say that she avoids the Italy booth because it frustrates her.
Yeah.
She was like, fried pasta is like not
sacrilege.
Yeah. So, but
I'm telling you, that fried pasta would be pretty okay if they just threw some salt on it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate it. So
see.
But I can see where it would be offensive to somebody who like.
Also, it said that it had ricotta cheese on the top, but it was clearly mozzarella.
I don't even know. Mine looked like Parmesan. Yeah. So Food and Wine is in full fledged. I'm trying to think. I felt like there was something else, but I can't remember what it was. It escaped my brain. They did announce a lot of the dates for Moonlight Magic coming up for anybody who's a DVC member. Keep an eye out for that. They have a Moonlight Magic at DCA, which sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And yeah.
There you go.
I think that's it.
Good episode.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tracking with us. Appreciate you. And I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
One day we'll run together.
I'm proud of you for changing your tires. You did great.
I didn't. I mean,
no, you figured it out. By the end of it, you figured it out.
We did.
And I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
There we go. See you guys later.
Bye, guys.